This is the main event, Mark's podcast, brought to you by the Unhinged Sports Radio Network and the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I am your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, and cat dad. I am Troy, and with me as always, he is the WCW watcher of classic wrestling and the main event collector. He is the Kevin Nash to my Diamond Dallas page. It's the insider, Greg. What's up, Greg?
Hey, yo.
What?
I wanted to say it.
Oh, yeah, well, he had long drank himself out of WCW at this point, I think.
Look, I'll always still be a huge fan of his.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I grew up loving Razor Ramon and Scott Hall and everything, so it sucks.
Despite him being more of a drunk than my own father, I will still love him.
Oh, man, he's more of a drunk than most people's fathers combined. But hey, man, he apparently pulled the nose up. He's doing good, so, you know, there's always a silver lining.
He looks good, too. That's important to note.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like hell. I mean,
right.
He doesn't look like he should, but he looks pretty good. So.
Yeah, I mean, he used to look like a Greek god back in the day, but yeah, so. But today, man, we're talking about something that, well, this was.
Coincidentally, a lot of these guys that we just mentioned are in this, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, right. This is, as Tony Schiavone like to say, WCW is a coffin on roller skates at this point. Man, this was like.
I miss WCW so much, but not for this.
I had asked you, like, I was texting with you during this show. I was like, my God, it's like, what is going on? And you're like, well, Russo's gone at this point, I think. I said, yeah, so what the hell is it? I've made this reference before. It's like when somebody cuts a fart and then, like, leaves the room and the stink sticks around. Like, that's Vince Russo. But I was like, is that it? Because I'm like, who the hell is still booking it this way? And come to find out, I looked it up. It was Ed Ferrara.
It was Kevin. Oh, okay. I was going to say Kevin Sullivan. Okay.
No, Ed Ferrara was, I mean, technically, Vince Russo, if you actually look it up, Vince Russo was still on payroll. He just took his ball and went home, bro. He was gone forever. So I think Russo was like shadow booking, quote unquote, with Ed Ferrara. So we can.
Well, that's just a thing with him. He does that. He did that with TNA too, remember? So that's just a thing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to go home and cry, bro. Well, I mean, Eric Bischoff said, he's like, I've never seen someone take their ball and go home to cry more times than Vince Russo. It's very true. So,
you know, if it ever comes out, like, and I hope this day it's not for like 100 years, but like when he passes away, it's one of those brain scans on him. I really hope that like it comes out normal, because if it comes out like you have something wrong with him this whole time, I'm gonna feel like crap for bagging on the guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, Greg, stupid isn't a disease, okay?
That's what I'm saying. I hope it's fine. He's just an idiot.
Yeah,
I make fun of that. That's how I get on court, so that's fair game in my opinion. But if there's something wrong, you know, no, I'm not making fun of that.
I think he's just a weirdo. So I know. Same
Again,
thing with Ed Ferrara.
I hope.
Yeah.
Weird as it sounds, I hope.
Him and Ed Ferrara are just weird and dumb. It just like, and we've talked before about not everything they did was terrible, just the majority of it. Like if you put a governor on him, like in WWE, he did all right for a while. But people talk about his like he had this big long run as a head booker. He was only there for a few years. And
I want to say 95 to 99.
Well, I think he officially joined, according to Cornette, I think he started joining in with the booking meetings in like late 96, mid 96, somewhere in there. Before that, he was just like, you know, the Raw magazine writer. So.
Well, you know, Vince Russo, he's Big Venom. Yeah,
right. But anyway, we should probably get into.
Say this. I did like the New Blood versus the Millionaires Club. I may be in the minority on that, but I thought it was a fun concept.
It had I mean, it had a good, like, I don't know. It's like when you look at a house and you're like, we're not going to have to tear the whole thing down. I mean, the bones are good. Just everything else we're going to have to rip up and, you know, start fresh. Right. So it's something like that. So yeah, it was a good concept. It just, could have been done better. And you got people like Scott Steiner in the New Blood. Okay.
You can even say Booker T for that matter too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he'd been, I mean, yeah, he was a tag team guy, but he was still there since, like, you know, early 90s. But I don't know. But anyway, we should probably get into Mayhem 2000. We've been delaying it long enough. Let's take a quick time out to let you know that the Main Event Marks is sponsored by Fanatics. Get all your officially licensed sports gear with Fanatics at fanatics.com. The link is down in the podcast description. Just let them know that the Main Event Marks and the Unhinged Sports Radio Network sent you. Also, we're sponsored by Swift Lifestyles. Their clean energy drinks and focus enhancers. Get great tasting vitamins and big brain nootropics that are made and shipped from the USA. Go to swiftlifestyles.com and use our special promo code MAINEVENTMARKS, that's all one word, for 15% off your order. And we do want to remind you that as the holidays are swiftly approaching, the number of shopping days you have is, they're dwindling. But, you can still pick up a few great pieces of merchandise, and you can support your favorite retro wrestling podcast by going to maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Our Redbubble store has a variety of items with our logos and different stuff from the show printed on it, a bunch of artwork made by me that's podcast related. You can go there and get like coasters and bags and clocks and whatever else, stickers. On Bonfire you can get high quality t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts, baseball shirts, whatever you want, with the latest and greatest show art on it. It's got, even holiday themed stuff. You got a Hanukkah shirt, you got a Christmas shirt, you got a Thanksgiving shirt if you want to get one of those shipped to you quickly. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Also, I want to remind you all to follow us on all forms of social media to keep up with the show. On Twitter and Instagram, we're at @mainevent_marks. And on Instagram, you can also find us at Main Event Collector. That's run by Greg. It features a lot of stuff from the show as well as Fig Talk. It's not all wrestling figures, but mostly. You can go check us out there. Again, Twitter and Instagram at @mainevent_marks. And on Instagram, it's at Main Event Collector. On Facebook as well, we're pretty active on Facebook. It's facebook.com/main event marks pod. We're going to be posting some polls on our Twitter account real soon about stuff that you can vote on that we will cover here on the show, so you can pick the content that you want to hear. Those, keep an eye out for those if you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
But now that we're done with all that, we should take our first break. When we come back, there's plenty of news and notes to cover from November of 2000, right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/main event marks pod, on Twitter at main event_marks, and on Instagram at main event_marks and at main event collector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we are back.
And we're back.
We're going to take one quick last time out to remind you all to follow us on Twitter at mainevent_marks, Instagram at mainevent_marks, and at Main Event Collector, and Facebook is facebook.com/main event marks pod. We're going to be posting some polls very soon where you can decide what we are going to cover in the future going into the new year of 2022. So follow us now. Keep your eye out for that. Also, as shopping days for the holidays are coming to a close, you can buy yourself, your friends, or your family something cool and support your favorite retro wrestling podcast all at the same time. Go to our Bonfire store at bonfire.com/store/main event marks. And on Redbubble, it's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. Let's get into the news and notes from November of 2000. Wow, roll tide, I guess. Well, this first story, I forgot that it was Survivor Series 2000 because this event stuck in my head, but I couldn't place the year. I was like, I know
Survivor Series 2000. It's just Undertaker and Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Well, there's some other stuff on the card.
The famous pants.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the notes here from good old Uncle Dave. But WWF Survivor Series 2000 is in the books and ended with a Wile E. Coyote finish of Steve Austin dropping a car with Triple H inside of it from a forklift in a spot that basically looked like Austin murdered him. Yep, I remember that.
And we'll see him in a couple of weeks unscathed, by the way.
The angle was done to give Triple H time off to rest his back and hip injuries. Apparently they weren't that bad if he came back in a few weeks. And here you go. The Kurt Angle Undertaker WWF.
That infamous lead-in.
Yeah. The Kurt Angle Undertaker WWF title match was also had a wacky finish with Angle's brother Eric getting involved and doing a whole twin magic gimmick. Undertaker had also lost his gear before the show and was wearing the Godfather's snakeskin pants. Yeah.
Here's you know what's funny? I was just thinking about real quick. 3 times in Survivor Series, he had to wear something that wasn't either his or something he hated. If you think about it, because he said he hated that American flag jacket.
I remember that one.
And he hated wearing that leather gear and rappelling in the Garden in 1986. And now this.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot that was at Survivor Series.
And he also debuted at this event. I'm like, wow, there's just something about this event and that man. They just don't mesh.
Right. Well, at the time, I don't think it came out until recently that those were the Godfather's pants and all this happened.
Yeah. And Undertaker said it himself. That's why I believe it.
Right. Well, and if you look at him, it's like, okay, yeah, those are Godfather's pants.
Poorly now, yes. Yes.
Oh, well, yeah. But at the time, this wasn't people didn't know, obviously. So Uncle Dave was like, what the hell is with the Undertaker's new ring gear? That's the ugliest crap I've ever seen. I'm like, yeah. But also at this event, Molly Holly and K-Quick made their pay-per-view debuts. K-Quick was, or is, Ron the Truth Killing / R-Truth, whatever the hell you want to call it.
The greatest 24/7 champion of all time.
What's he up to, 100 times now?
57.
Oh, well, he's closing in, man. But Lita got legit busted open over her left eye, in her match with Ivory, and it required stitches, and had half of a crimson mask for most of the match. I gotta go back and watch. I don't remember.
That was Ivory's boots, I believe.
Oh, damn. What, she just up kick her in the face or something?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember it was her boot, because they had that event on DVD, and they have a behind-the-scenes thing afterward. She was talking to her mom, and she says Ivory's boot caught her on the eye.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they did something because I had rented DVD or VHS or whatever of Royal Rumble 2000, now in the archives, and they did a behind-the-scenes thing with Triple H after his match with Cactus Jack. And
that was sick.
When he got back body dropped onto that wood pallet, he sliced open the back of his calf, and it had to get stitches. So
you know what's funny to me? That whole match was pretty brutal. And that is what hurt him the most?
Yeah, right. That's the only thing he needed stitches from. Everything else, he was good to go.
It's the little stuff, man.
Yep, I know. Every time. WWF profits were down from the same quarter last year. The big reasons were due to the $7 million that WWF had to pay their share of the Owen Hart settlement. Insurance paid the other $11 million. Another $6.5 million in costs associated with the XFL startup expenses. And finally, they lost a bunch of money in expenses related to the WWF New York restaurant in Times Square. However, what helped a bit is the price of everything, from TV rights fees and merchandise to live event tickets, going up. So they were they were still in the black. I mean, they were kicking ass at this point, not even close. But if you do year over year quarterly projections, they were down because of those 3 big things. But the XFL was not long for this world, and everything else was just a one-time. Well, the Owen Hart thing was a one-time hit. I can't remember when they closed down WWF New York because it becomes the World at one point.
It was definitely after Survivor Series 2002.
Okay.
Because I remember Saliva performing there. They were playing Jericho the Ring. They were in the World, and Jericho's at the Garden. So I know it closed after that. So I don't know when, though.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not positive, like, off the top of my head or anything. Because I know they had changed their name to The World to kind of not make people think, oh, there's a wrestling cafe. But according to Bruce,
they didn't have any wrestling things there at all. So
yeah, right. Well, according to Bruce Pritchard, it was just which you can kind of guess, it was an astronomical fee, like rent, that they paid for that spot in Times Square. So, and they said
the food sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. Okay, so I'm looking at now that it came around in November of '99 and it closed in April of '03. So it really wasn't 4 years, less than 4 years.
It closed after WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, so because it was open. Wow, I can't believe it was still open going into '03. But all right. But anyway,
that was really awesome.
Well, you were right that it was still open after.
I was guessing it closed only 04 or 05.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, speaking of WrestleMania, ticket sales for WrestleMania 17 in Houston are now at more than 52,000 sold and still climbing. The first day sales, where they moved almost 49,000, shattered virtually every company ticket sales record there is. I want you to keep those figures in mind, by the way, for another story coming up, and we'll refer back to this one. But that one just, wow, man.
What's crazy is I just read a story that Jerry Jones said he gave Vince McMahon Cowboy Stadium both nights for free.
Wow, that's nuts.
That's insane.
Yeah, really. Well, I know ticket sales I think WrestleMania 17 was the highest grossing WrestleMania for a while. I can't remember which one beat it out off the top of my head, but it was a big one. A lot of people say it's their favorite. It is now in the archives, by the way. We reviewed it this past April, leading up to WrestleMania, or March, sorry, leading up to WrestleMania. So go check that out. But yeah, it was a good show, and they filled Reliant Stadium. So,
Hashtag NWO sold out.
Wow. It was Reliant Stadium, right? Or no, they were in the Astrodome.
The Astrodome, yeah.
That's right. My bad. I stand corrected.
That is correct.
Wow. Somebody got it in. Getting back to the XFL news here. This one, I vaguely remember this, but I was 9 right here, so I was 10, but it's like I don't really remember all the stink around it. The XFL made huge news this week by announcing Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura had been hired as an announcer for the Saturday night NBC games. Once again, it's led to controversy over whether a sitting governor should be getting paid all this money to do these outside gigs, and whether he's using his power and celebrity of his office for personal gain. Vince McMahon himself also made waves with an interview in ESPN magazine where he spoke about some of the XFL plans. McMahon said that the cheerleaders may have some announcing duties and that they would be encouraged to date the players.
Wow.
A little creepy. Because part of the interview, he was like, well, we'll find out who these players are dating on the sidelines so that, if a quarterback throws an interception or whatever, we can get immediate reaction from his girlfriend on the sidelines. Like, what the F?
Because that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what does the player's girlfriend think? Like, who cares? And by the way, we know who the wives and girlfriends of a lot of players in the NFL are, and whenever they get interviewed post-game, it usually doesn't go well, and it makes headlines for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, especially Patrick Mahomes' mom and wife.
Yeah, well, there was that time, like, Giselle went off on reporters. Yep. Like, man. But
because, those opinions matter.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. I want to know what the international supermodel thinks about how her quarterback husband is doing.
That's a mouthful, but yeah, spot on.
Right. The XFL stuff with Jesse Ventura, I mean, you were a teenager during this time, right? In 2000? Mm-hmm. I mean, do you remember anything about the stuff? I remember a little bit, the controversy.
I don't remember the controversy, no.
I know there was a big thing when he was at SummerSlam the previous year because that was the thing. They were like, so are you getting paid for this? And where's the money going? And again, it was another one where it's like, so you're working with WWF again, and you're getting paid, obviously. Like, where's all the money going? Like, as a sitting politician, that's frowned upon, we'll say. But,
so it's not illegal. It's just frowned upon, like masturbating on an airplane.
Exactly. Thanks, Obama.
It was
Lord.
It was Bin Laden, idiot.
No, whatever.
It's a vastly different person.
I know, but I got confused because that was like the meme for like 8 years. It was like, it's raining again. Thanks, Obama. Anyway, I'm going to get a letter. This one will make you laugh. At the latest NWA Wildside indie show in Georgia, they had a rookie who's a former NFL player named Bob Sapp.
Oh, good God.
Word is that he has a monster look, and he can move quickly, and he has potential.
Get his ass kicked every time he goes in the ring.
Yep. Yeah, spoiler, he's going to go on. I mean, he will wrestle in Japan, but he's also going to go into, doesn't he fight in Pride?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he fights in Pride. I didn't really follow his record, so I don't know if he was any good or not. According to you,
he was not good.
Okay.
He got beat up every time he got out in the freaking ring.
He was effing huge, though, man. I mean, it's one of them, like...
That's the problem. I don't think he could move, despite what they just said.
That's true. But he's one of them, like... How did Vince McMahon not snatch him up? Because, I mean, just freaking look at him, dude. I don't know.
I was always wondering how the same thing when he appeared in he was in the Longest Yard with Nash and Austin, wrestlers, Goldberg.
Yeah.
They didn't see him in that?
Yeah. No, he gets the Great Khali, who's even worse. And at least Bob Sapp, you can understand him when he speaks. And I'm not saying that because of Khali's, like, accent, whatever. I can understand people with accents. He has, like, the Andre the Giant effect, where it's the deep, growly, you can't understand what the hell he's saying. Chris Candido collapsed backstage in an indie show a couple of weeks prior to this time. Candido had a seizure and was taken away in an ambulance. Tammy Sytch was also reportedly with him.
Man.
I think this was...
That poor duo was just cursed.
Yeah. Well, people speculate, and I don't know for sure, but I heard, from multiple people have said Candido him and Tammy had a big drug problem back then, and people were speculating.
False?
Yeah.
Look at her over the years.
Oh, well, she clearly did. I'm pretty sure, Candido did. Well, yeah. Pretty sure Candido did as well. But people were speculating. They were like, that, they were thinking the seizure was brought on by drug use, which I wouldn't doubt it. And they were saying it's like, well, I don't know what it's going to take for them to admit they finally have a problem. And it's like, shoot, man, I think Chris cleaned himself up before he passed, but, like, Tammy's still having issues, man. That's sad. I'm not making light of it. It sucks, but, like, hot damn. Getting into this is kind of an involved story, but there's a lot of questions over the future of Rob Van Dam and ECW. It was initially reported that RVD had quit, but #plans changed, and Uncle Dave had to issue a retraction. Yes.
No.
He actually issued a retraction, and he apologized. How about that? However, there are big-time money issues between RVD and ECW. Again, no. Which is why RVD hasn't been working shows lately.
Check bounce?
Yeah, well, I'm sure multiple checks bounce. Every wrestler in the company is owed money, at the very least 1 month's pay, and some are owed a lot more. Plus, no one had received any pay-per-view bonuses in ages. Fortunately for ECW right now, they're in a position where WWF isn't hiring anyone new, and WCW can't afford to hire anyone due to cost-cutting, so much of the ECW roster isn't leaving because they have nowhere else to go. But
yeah, a lot of those guys were wanted hard by all the other companies.
Oh, yeah, I know. Like, I
wanted, man. I wanted roadkill.
Oh, well, yeah. Chickens. I'm sure Vince McMahon was, falling over himself. He was like, dang it, we have all these XFL startup expenses. We can't hire the gangsters. Damn it.
Who of them was going to move a needle?
You just said it, dude. Roadkill. God.
I was listening to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast last week, and one of the questions the fan asked was, like, if you can pick a wrestler to be in a Super 7 line. You know what Super 7 is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't have, like, they get people that are not under exclusive contracts, okay?
Right.
And Brian Myers said...
Oh, go ahead.
Huh?
Oh, I was going to say, they do the New Japan figures. Sorry.
They do, yeah. So Brian Myers said, if they were going to make anybody, they need to make Shane Douglas, because I feel like that would sell 1 million figures. And I'm like, oh my God.
Okay.
I get that he's a hardcore ECW fan, but good Lord, man. In what world will that man sell 1 million figures that are like $45 a pop, mind you?
I'm going to say a couple of things about that. One, hell yes, they should make that and make a Shane Douglas, because I would buy it. Second of all, I know what we just said, but and I'm going to go back on what I just said with this. It's not going to sell 1 million. Like, he's a couple 100,000 maybe as a novelty.
Well, the problem is they're made to order too. So
yeah, I will say with the switchable heads, what they should do, the cool thing would be if they had one with short hair and one with his ponytail.
Yeah, just popped in my head though when you said that. I'm like, was there anybody in ECW in late 2000 that companies were clamoring for? I mean,
yeah.
Dudley's and Taz and Lance Storm were all gone.
Yeah.
I guess RVD would be one, but
right,
or maybe Z1.
And I'm not going to say Dreamer or Credible. And Raven had been there, done that. So, well, he was about to go to WWE.
Raven is in WWE at this moment, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. To wrap this up, though, but RVD's situation was serious enough that they didn't mention his name at all during the pay-per-view, and they're not planning any storylines for him right now, so they seem to be under the impression that he's at least not going to be around for a little while.
You can tell all this is true because when he appears at guilty as charged at the weigh-in, the entire arena is shocked as hell.
Yeah, that was
they thought he was gone forever, bro.
Yeah, that was his next and final appearance at the very last ECW pay-per-view.
It looked like they were building him and Rhino at Living Dangerously, and that never happened.
Yeah.
Because they promote Living Dangerously during the show. So they did not know that this was it for them.
During this, by the way, Uncle Dave had launched into some diatribe about, it's like, well, on one hand, what could help ECW maybe is Uncle Dave is so full of contradictions. He's like, well, what could help them is if they did an ECW invasion angle in WCW, but Paulie wouldn't do that because he hates WCW, and I don't know how much it would work anyway because the WCW guys wouldn't put them over, and nobody in like WCW's audience wouldn't give a crap. I'm like, so you just contradicted literally.
It's like, so everything I just said, but no.
Yeah, it's like, so you lay out your opening statement and then you contradict it with everything else you just said. Like, for God's sake, dude, like, have a coherent thought.
He'd be a hell of a lawyer, huh?
Yeah, right.
My client was at home when the murder happened. Now, he was in the vicinity later.
Yeah.
Or earlier.
Yeah. Like my client was home all night, except for the time when the murder happened. He was in that area where it did take place. Everything that guy just said is bullshit.
Holy crap.
I had to get into My Cousin Vinny. Let's keep it with...
That's a classic.
Hell yeah, it is. I've seen it like 10 times.
Dude, it's got the Karate Kid and the bad guy from Home Alone. How the hell can you go wrong with that?
Good Lord. And Herman Munster is the judge.
Ah, good Lord, man. He's batting out of the park with all these, man. That's the ultimate endorsement.
And Marissa Tomei. Like, you can literally never go wrong with Marissa Tomei. Ever. To this day.
Yeah, that's Peter Parker's unusually hot aunt, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, good Lord. Anyway, last ECW thing here. This one's just like, wow, I didn't know this happened. On ECW TV this week, they pretty much dropped the angle of the FBI cutting off Sinister Minister's fingers after the almost universally negative response they got last week for showing the footage of Sinister Minister being legit treated for an injury.
Now, was that when he got burned by the book?
I believe so, yeah. That's the only thing I can think of.
I remember hearing something about him legitimately wanting to use a Bible for this, and they shut it down.
Good Lord.
Like, oh, is that your, what's the word I'm looking for?
Your
karma?
line? Oh, well, yeah, that too. My thing is, like, Paulie's like, Raven, you may crucify a man at ringside. Sinister Minister, you may not burn a Bible. Like, what?
Okay, now, hold on. Now, to be fair, of those two things, I'd probably, if you had to pass one, I'd probably pass the crucifixion thing first.
Yeah.
I don't think I could burn a Bible. I'm sorry. If I had to choose one, that would be the one. So, going on what you just said, they might have picked the right one. Okay, I'm just saying.
I can see that, but it's just like, wow. And I've said this before, by the way.
I get it. He's Jewish, okay, and like none of this really affects him, so to speak. But no.
Well, hey, you know, the first part of the Bible is the Jewish Bible. So, I mean, he's like, look, more than half of that thing is my book, sir. If I may have another volley.
Oh, man.
Getting off of that, getting into some Hart family drama here. Bret Hart was scheduled to appear on Good Morning America last week, but due to all the hoopla surrounding the presidential election, he was bumped from the show. People don't know anything about that.
This was in the middle of the whole hanging Chad thing, right?
Yes.
That is a little bit more important.
Yeah, right. Like, hey, we're going to have Bret Hart on the show. Never mind. We got a contested presidential election going on to talk about.
We have American issues here.
Exactly. In related news, Bret Hart's column in this week's Calgary Sun was also pulled due to apparently being too controversial. It was probably something to do with the Owen Hart's lawsuit settlement and the Hart family drama. Yeah. Well, on that note,
man, dude. Now I see why he's so miserable all the time now. You know, he lost a lot of his siblings, and the remaining ones are all fighting.
And he, got kicked in the head by Goldberg and had multiple strokes. I mean, yeah. And look, crap happens. I'm not saying like, oh, screw you, Goldberg. Crap happens. But still, it's dumb luck, man. It freaking sucks. But on that same note of the Hart family drama, by the way, this one, just wow. Martha Hart did a lengthy interview on Vicky Gabourow's show in Canada. I don't know who that is. Maybe a Canadian will know.
He's probably like the same of that woman from 2020 out here, Barbara Walters. She's probably like their Barbara Walters.
Baba Wawa? Yeah. Well, Martha didn't have much nice to say about the rest of the Hart family, but she did say that Bret Hart is one of her best friends and that during the entire lawsuit, he supported her and all the decisions she made. She said that Owen would have been proud of how Bret handled it. When asked about the rest of the family, she said that there would never be any repairing the relationship. She specifically blamed Diana Hart-Smith and Ellie Neidhart. Ellie is Natalia's mom, by the way, for looking out for their own self-interests and for trying to sabotage her case against the WWF. She said that she's still on good terms with several other members of the family, but they would also have contact with Diana and Ellie, and it's just an awkward situation, so she tries to avoid it. She also said that Stu and Helen have always been good to her. Among other things, Martha said that she'd never want her children to get into wrestling, and says Owen would have never wanted them to either. And to this day, they all hate wrestling, so there's that.
Oh, and yet they're going to take Tony Khan's money, though. Interesting.
Yeah,
whatever.
Right. The whole, I get it, but her whole thing is I don't think she ever came right out and said, wrestling sucks, I hate wrestling. I think she came out and said, I hate the WWF. So, I don't know.
Well, what the hell do those pandas do to her?
The hell?
You said WWF.
Yeah. Hey, the one lawsuit that Jerry McDevitt could not win for the WWE. How about that?
Only because it took place on away turf. He's still undefeated in America.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the Hart family, though, I had heard something about that like she was trusting the Hart family, and Natalia's mom and Diana Hart-Smith were apparently taking information that she was giving and going to the WWF and trying to rat her out basically so that they could get in good with Vince.
Oh, I'm just saying both their kids have since been in WWE, so there you go. I'm not saying it's true or false. I don't know.
Well, Greg, the Rhino needed a job. Yeah, it's a big bastard. Yeah. I don't know. That's effed up, though, man. Like, how are you going to do that to a widow? Like, damn. Like, even if you don't agree with the lawsuit, just stay out of it. Like, be like, nope.
Well, something she did that we don't know about. Oftentimes, when people accuse people of stuff, they conveniently leave out what they did to cause it all. Usually.
As far as I know, neither one of those women have come out and said anything like defending themselves or denying it or anything else.
They don't want to get the drama.
I was going to say maybe they feel like they don't have to. They're not really public figures, so who cares? It's not like they're trying to, gin up work or something.
Well, again, who's in the news now for taking money from wrestling now? I'm just putting that out.
Yeah, I will say,
that out.
I think most of that money is going to the Owen Hart Foundation.
I'm not saying where the money's going. All I'm saying is she's taking money now.
Hey, whatever, man. As long as we can get a new Owen Hart figure, that's what you see where my mind is.
See, that's my first thought too. But then I'm like, not to be a Debbie Downer, I'm like, can we find it?
Yeah. No, we won't be able to. You're gonna have to order it like ringside exclusive.
That's my thing, man. I'm like, I want it, but I'm also a realist. I'm never gonna find the damn thing.
Yeah, we'll never see it in stores ever. It will never be on a peg. So
at this point, I actually hope it's a ringside exclusive. That way, you're guaranteed to get one.
Yeah, that's true. Getting into the WCW stuff here. WCW ran a pay-per-view in Germany called Millennium Final. I've heard of this. A lot of people were
Didn't
missing.
they have like an E at the end of Final?
No. But a lot of people missed the first hour of the show due to pay-per-view technical problems. Go figure.
Now, hold on. WCWs or cable providers, there is a difference.
Yeah, they didn't
specify. Place the blame where it lies here. I mean, I know.
Right.
I know it's easy to laugh at the idiots because they've screwed up so much, but.
Yeah, I know. You never know.
I mean, but to be honest, it probably was them. I don't know why I'm trying to defend it. I'm just saying facts.
Well, it's kind of like Jim Cornette talking about whenever he said, everybody's running around Ring of Honor like, we're going to be on internet pay-per-view. And he's like, and? It's like, no. First of all, nobody's going to watch it. Second of all, we don't have the equipment for this stuff. And he was right, by the way. If you watch the first couple of internet pay-per-views they did, so many technical issues. They got knocked off the air I don't know how many times. It was a cluster F.
My defense of that man has always been, I don't care what you think. You can disagree with him all day. At the very end of the day, everything he says is coming from somebody that's at least been in the business. I'm not saying I like everything he says. I'm just saying at least it's coming from a place of knowledge, not some douchebag in the mom's basement on a computer.
Or in a very super messy office in San Jose. Right. There's that. Anyway, so that's not a specific
don't have to like him, but just like, at least, he's got knowledge.
Right. Anyways. But back to this. They were also broadcasting two separate feeds, one showing the main show and another feed showing the backstage area and featuring a lot of interviews. That sounds boring. They did a Royal Rumble style battle royal with a new guy entering every 45 seconds, which was won by Mike Awesome, of all people. Alex Wright and General Rection won the tag team titles. It was supposed to be Disco Inferno, but instead he got injured and Rection took his spot. German boxer Axel Schultz.
Were they looking to reform the Boogie Nights here?
Yeah. I mean, they're together on the show we're about to talk about, but yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched this show like 2 weeks ago. So I've already forgotten it. I do have notes right here, but
good for you.
Full disclosure, when I get the list of stuff we're watching, I try to knock them all out early in the month. So when you watch a bunch of shows, they overlap.
Right.
Also, I keep thinking about Back to Berlin in 2000. That's why I missed that.
Right. Oh. Well, German boxer Axel Schultz refereed the Sting versus Kevin Nash main event. And at one point, when Nash was in the Scorpion Deathlock, he tried to make a 3 count before realizing it was a submission hold and that Nash was face down on the mat.
Wow. That's almost Slick Johnson bad.
Yeah, at least Slick Johnson knows when to count the pin. Well,
wait. That's the thing. Do you remember that? There's like a famous clip on YouTube. It was happening on Nitro. Nash was powerbombing guys left and right, and Slick was just counting down with 3, and Nash not even putting a foot on him or anything.
Yeah, big boots too. It's a guy would come in the ring, big boot, and he'd go down and count the 3. I'm like, what? Well, it's like, you remember at the beginning of Whose Line Is It Anyway, where they're like, where the points don't matter and whatever. That was WCW. It's like, welcome to the World Championship Wrestling, where matches don't matter and the pinfalls mean nothing.
I like how it's called World Championship, and then that title meant nothing too. It was kind of hidden within there the whole time.
Wow. Sting is dealing with an elbow injury and will miss all of December. which is why he's not on the show. I'm sure he was crying about that one.
Pretty sure he doesn't come back until the end.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's on the very last Nitro. I don't know what he did before that.
I don't think he did anything. I think he just reappeared. I remember that because I'm like, oh, he's back.
Just in time for this joint to get shut down. But this is probably one of the funnier stories we got here. It's a long one, but try to keep up. Vampiro did an interview on Insane Clown Posse's website claiming that he's leaving WCW due in part to concussions that he suffered at Halloween Havoc and Nitro the next night. There's skepticism within WCW over the legitimacy of his injuries. Vampiro just had a new baby, and a lot of people believe that he's faking the concussion symptoms so that he can stay home with his child, despite the fact that the WCW doctors did diagnose him with concussions as legit. It's not just Vampiro, though. There's people in WCW who are doubtful of Bret Hart's concussions as well. That just seemed to be a thing in WCW, people doubting injuries. Well,
that tells me there may have been a lot of fakes in the past.
I think Bischoff himself admitted, he was like, yeah, there was a lot of abuse of that system. So I get it. I think that was one thing he tried to curb, but he could only do so much. But anyway, on the ICP hotline, yes, that was a thing. Vampiro talked about having permanent speech impairment, a possible broken neck, and brain damage. He was adamant about never going back to WCW and ripped on the company as well as Terry Taylor and Vince Russo. He said that the only wrestling that he's going to be doing from now on is in ICP's JCW promotion, and that he also plans to go on tour with ICP and play bass. Man, that guy's got lofty goals, man.
Play my damn music.
I will say this, he tried to put out a rap album, but he had lost so much hearing that he couldn't hear the music through the headphones very well, and he just gave up halfway through recording. So, because we were waiting for big...
I feel like it's a metaphor for all of us listening to that.
Yeah, right. We were all waiting with bated breath for the Vampiro rap album, man.
This is one of those news to me things.
Yeah.
I could have went my whole life without you telling me this, but this is what I signed up for, so okay.
Yep, you learn things on this show, man. This laundry list of injuries, and I'm not doubting he had a lot of injuries, but he's been mocked.
Wrestler, so
yeah. You know. Every wrestler has talked about it. It's like, dude, any wrestler in the world that's been in wrestling for more than like a couple of years can walk into a doctor and get diagnosed with like 5,000 things and get pills in a heartbeat. Like, I believe it.
Hell yeah.
Well, and the laundry list of injuries for Vampiro has been a point of contention for just like, he's been mocked about this by Conan and other people for years. You remember he had like a video a couple of years ago that came out where he's just running down. He's like, this is broken and this is replaced and this is fake and I'm half dead and this, just like everything.
I do.
Conan just like mocked him mercilessly on his podcast.
As he should have.
Right.
He must owe him some money.
Yeah. They like, I guess they're friends now, but they hated each other for years because it stemmed from like who was the bigger draw in Mexico. And yes, both of them were huge draws in Mexico, if anybody doesn't know. Here's the final story to wrap things up. Remember that story I told you before about, like 52,000 tickets sold already for WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, keep that in mind. Tickets for Starcade went on sale last week, and the first day sales were disastrous. They only sold 926 tickets.
For their temple events.
For a building that holds around 20,000 people for basketball. In the end, the show only drew 3,465 fans. Wow. That's like the dying days of Bill Watts territory where he would get the Superdome, and I think they only sold like 1,000 seats.
And we've been in the Superdome. We know that thing holds about 60.
Right. Bruce Pritchard pointed this out because he covered the Bill Watts territory recently on his podcast. He was talking about a big bragging point for Michael Hayes. He's like, hey, I sold out Superdome. What the F did you do? And he's like, well, that show drew 20,000. He's like, so, I mean, it was a sellout for what they set it up for, but they didn't sell it out. He's like, hey, whatever, respect. 20,000 seats, 20,000 seats. but that is not a sellout of the Superdome. Sorry. Anyway, well, that does it for the news and notes. You ready? Well, I know the answer is no. Are you ready to get into this?
I don't drink, but I feel like I need to for this. But yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I got alcohol in the fridge, so here we go. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's Mayhem 2000.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
This message is brought to you by Belly Up Sports. No, just kidding. This is not an NWO promo. This is just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, the host of Here in Puckburg on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I have a hockey podcast where we talk about hockey fandom and the love of the game and where that leads you in this game we call life. Why am I on Main Event Marks telling you about this? Well, what if I told you I had one half of the world's greatest tag team, otherwise known as the Main Event Marks, the one and only Greg, Superfly Greg. He was on, and he was talking about his love of the game. So you might want to come over and check that episode out. And if you like what you hear, you can check out the rest of our incredible episodes with our incredible hockey community, from PHF athletes, ESPN personalities, fathers of NHL players, and a whole lot more. Come by, follow the show, give a like, give a subscribe, and it'd be great to have you here in Puckburg. But enough about me. Let's get back to what you're really here for, the Main Event Marks, because they are the cream of the crop. Oh yeah.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we're back.
It
is WCW Mayhem 2000 from November 26th of 2000. The tagline, the genetic freak of sports entertainment, unleashed. Sure.
Yeah.
The venue was the U.S. I know. The venue is the U.S. Cellular Arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with an attendance of 3,800 people.
Okay. First,
go.
No, you go ahead. Just what the hell is U.S. Cellular? I feel like I've heard that before.
I don't know.
Okay, so I asked what U.S. Cellular is, and I guess it's still a thing. I've literally never heard of it.
Huh. Is it like an AT&T type, one of them?
Yeah, it's got a pretty big coverage map. I mean, it looks like northern Idaho, some of Montana and Washington are not. It doesn't work there, but that's about it.
Weird. Yeah, I never see commercials for it, so I don't know. But the pay-per-view buy rate for this was 0.12, amounting to 55,000 buys.
So I don't think I watched this live. Can't remember.
Yeah. This is like TNA, like at its worst, did better than this. This is disastrous, man. And this is supposed to be the number 2 company in the entire world. It is not. Okay. New Japan is doing better than this at this point. Anyway.
Well, hindsight, always 2020.
Yeah.
It's, 4 months away from dying?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's that.
Yeah. Somebody actually brought up there. Somebody actually went off on people on Twitter saying, I guess some people had said, I wish WCW would have won the Monday Night Wars. And they were like, really? You wanted WCW to win so we could still in 2021 be watching Kevin Nash powerbomb small guys and win the title for the 10th time?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. I see his point. But we start the show with Booker T walking into the building and getting mobbed by fans wanting autographs. We then see Scott Steiner walking into the building with Medeja and a giant lead pipe. Then he destroys the laptops of 2 guys sitting at a table in the hallway. That was weird. But after the show opened, we get a clip from before the show where spiky-haired Ric Flair came out in a suit and told the crowd that he promises them a great show full of title matches.
You lying SOB.
I know, right? There's another huge lie coming up.
My first note on that, too, is lying SOB. I also put in there, I'm like, look, I love Booker T, but I don't ever remember anybody clamoring for him like that. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
And again, it's not a knock. I love the guy. He's one of my favorites, but no.
I know. Yeah. He was not that big at this time. No.
Now maybe. No, I've been at an APW show where the line to meet him was like, I mean, I know it's obviously a small auditorium, but it was like huge. There was like 100 people in that line to see him. It's like, so I could buy it now, not in 2000.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah, did Ric Flair just become the new CEO, like, right before this? Because this just seemed random.
He was the president at the beginning of the year.
Well, now he's the CEO, apparently.
Yeah, I think that was recently, yeah.
Okay, because that just seems super random. I'm like, why is Ric Flair coming out here doing rah-rah stuff?
You can always be a CEO of WCW. All you gotta do is win a match.
Oh, yeah. They put job titles on the line so much.
That and commissioner were passed around like candy, dude.
Oh, my gosh, I know. Speaking of what you just said about the commissioner, our first match here for the WCW Cruiserweight title is above average Mike Sanders, who is the commissioner at this time.
That name.
I know, right? It's like, he's not great. He's above average. But he is defending.
Who proudly admits that?
Hey, he's above average, all right? So that's above a C. So he's like a B. He's defending the Cruiserweight title against Kwee with Paisley in his corner. Paisley is the future Charmel, Booker T's wife. But this went...
Charmel?
Yeah. This one went 10 seconds shy of 8 minutes. Before the match, Mike Sanders has a mic and tells Kwee that he doesn't even know him anymore. He insults him, and he slaps him before Kwee jumps him. The natural-born Thrillers end up coming out and interfering. Mang then comes out to beat up the Thrillers. And then Ric Flair comes out to tell everyone to leave ringside. So, first match of the night, we just got bullcrap all over the place. And it continues. It continues because Paisley ends up hitting Mike Sanders multiple times in front of the ref. Not a damn thing is done about it. Not even trying to hide it. Sanders ends up hitting the 3.0, which is Randy Orton's backbreaker over the back, for the win. Uncle Dave and I both gave this dose stars. What say you?
I gave it 2. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, but, I mean, not to spoil anything, I don't think I can't, I'm not going through all my star ratings right now, but I don't think I rated anything above 2 stars on this whole damn show. But,
you know what's funny, though? We, recently, this year, now in the archives, there was a Kwee match I believe we gave 4 stars to. Is that Greed, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
So that man's like a hidden gem.
Yeah. Well, him and who? What the hell was he called? Jet? Jason Jet?
Yeah, Jason Jet.
Okay. Easy Money.
Yeah. Now he's I believe he's still in Impact.
Really?
Yeah. I think so.
Wow, I did not know that.
Or at least making appearances. Some of he's in it. I don't know.
Good Lord. Yeah, well, the 2 guys you would not expect a damn thing from, and they opened the show off hot for Greed. But
why not? They know they're going under. I'm not trying to be funny either. It's like maybe they knew this is it. It's like, go on a bang, look good to Vince.
Yeah, and then turn around and be like, follow that. But Mean Gene Okerlund is backstage with WCW's new CEO, Ric Flair, who says that in WCW, winning and losing matters.
It doesn't work now with AEW, and it's not going to work then, okay?
Yeah.
No one ever believes that in any show.
But because of that, for the rest of the night, the only people allowed at the ring are valets and managers, and there will be no interference from wrestlers. Sure. We now go to.
Are you saying you don't believe they're going to follow that?
Oh, well, no, they always, there was hardly any interference ever in WCW, okay? It hardly ever happened. It was a rarity.
You and your sarcasm.
We now go to a different backstage area to see Disco with a Q and Alex Wright.
Yes.
They're talking to Chronic. Disco is asking Chronic to sub in for him as Alex Wright's tag partners, because you can do that, and make their upcoming tag match a handicap match.
Coming back to me.
Disco hands him an envelope full of cash, which they say isn't enough. So Alex hands them an envelope full of cash, and they say that's about half of their usual rate. So they're only paid for 7 minutes and 30 seconds, as opposed to a full 15-minute match.
That's enough for me.
Wow. What are you going to do with the other 5?
Sit there and wallow about how I can do better the next time. Let's move on, please.
Good Lord. We now go back to Mean Gene Okerlund standing by with Jamie Noble and Evan Courageous. Courageous says that 3 Count is jealous of him. He then starts talking like he's a cast member from Malibu's Most Wanted. People don't know what that is. Throw it in your Google machine.
That was Jamie Kennedy, right?
Yes. Good Lord. What the hell happened to him?
He made this movie.
Right. Jamie and Evan realize that they're both from North Carolina, and they get friendly until Jamie realizes that Evan slept with his sister in high school and then cheated on her multiple times. Evan tells him to forget.
Isn't it amazing how it just comes out right in the middle of this promo?
Yeah, right.
You know.
Irony. Not like it was planned. But Evan tells him to forget the past and move on because they're tag partners tonight. As they walk away, Mean Gene says, it could be worse. Coming from North Carolina, they could be related. Like, holy crap. Mean Gene had no
I didn't
chill.
do anything I disagreed with. Sorry.
Nope. It's at this point that I'm beyond tired of the stupid backstage stuff as we switch to Crowbar, dressed like a pimp, walking backstage with 2 women on his arms. He mentions that he's the hardcore champion, like that's some kind of flex. And he's got a match to get ready for as he walks into the locker room singing Staying Alive. Crowbar sees that he's been left flowers and a card that says, good luck, I'll be watching. I didn't give a crap who this was from. It's just like, who possibly could?
So I'm going to tell you a note I wrote, and I now want to erase it because I realize how disrespectful it is. Like, this guy looked like a white Huggy Bear. like Huggy Bear was cool, though, so I'm going to take that out.
Right. I was going to put in Huggy Bear, too, and nah.
No, Huggy Bear he was so cool they had Snoop Dogg play him in the movie. So it's like, I'm not going to compare that to this idiot.
Right, yeah. But up next week.
He still wrestles as Devin Storm to this day, by the way.
Yep. Yes, he does. I see him on social media here and there.
So that's good, too, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't look bad. But up next, we got a tag team 3-way dance between 3 Count of Shane Helms and Shannon Moore versus the Jung Dragons of Kaz Hayashi and Yang with Leia Meow in their corner. And they're taking on the team of Jamie Noble and Evan Courageous. This went just shy of 11 minutes. Before the match, Shane Helms grabs a mic to tell to make a small penis joke about Evan, and then 3 Count dances to their music before being cut off by the Jung Dragons. This one gets jump-started in the aisle. This was quite the definition of flippy crap. Leia Meow.
Died.
Yes. Leia Meow and a ladder get involved in this one at various times. 3 Count wins with Helms hitting a swinging neckbreaker on Yang, who Moore has up in a fireman's carry. WCW just abused the hell out of these matches in this era because it was actually fairly entertaining. So I guess I can't fully blame them. Uncle Dave gave it 3.5 stars. I take back what I said earlier. I gave it 3 stars. What say you?
I gave it 2. I don't know. Too much. Not enough wrestling for me. But I will say they have a ladder match coming up the next month that's freaking amazing.
And they have a rematch at Greed, I believe. So go check that out now in the archives. They do have a ladder match at Greed. I don't know. It was good, actually. It was one of the better matches on the card. So a bright light on that card.
It was no Kwee match, and I don't say that sarcastically.
Right, yeah. We now rush to the back where Bam Bam Bigelow had attacked Mike Awesome, putting him through a table, and was hitting him with a chair. Sergeant AWOL now runs up, beating on Bigelow and chases him off. We flip to the interview area where Pamela Paulshock, not dressed for this occasion, was standing by with Disco, Alex Wright, and Chronic. Wright and Disco get in the obligatory shots about Paulshock being dumb and a gold digger. They are driving home that Chronic is only paid for 7.5 minutes before they walk tonight. So they're telegraphing something. Now we go to Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing Jimmy Hart.
Well, real quick, how roll time is she looking?
Every night, man. But Mean Gene Okerlund is now interviewing Jimmy Hart, whose right leg is in a cast, and he's on crutches.
Oh, my God, I forgot about this, too.
Hart said, I did not say that Milwaukee, Wisconsin is where men are men and the women are too.
Here's the thing. I pull up the note from the match as we're getting ready to talk about it. So when you say this, I'm like, oh, good Lord. And then I look at my notes of this match. Like,
yep.
Oh, my God.
Well, Mean Gene says
maybe I should start watching these a little closer to recording date.
Yep.
Be more ready.
For this. Well, Mean Gene says that Jimmy Hart's cast is about as real as Major Guns.
Wow. Yep. That was sad. I mean.
Yep. A stagehand then runs up.
Didn't she get in like porn or something after this?
Oh yeah. On her website, you can buy one of those fake vaginas that is like her brand, I guess. So it's made in her mold.
So all these jokes, tasteless and classless as they are, were not. What's
inaccurate?
What's yeah? Let's say not on the money. The opposite of that.
Right. Dead on balls accurate. To make another My Cousin Vinny reference. Anyway, stagehand runs up and rushes Jimmy off. We've got to have like 20 minutes of backstage BS between every match, I guess, because this is just a long Nitro.
First thing I'm thinking is, are they setting up a cage or something? What's going on?
Yeah, I know, right? But we go back to the office of Mike Sanders, where the natural-born Thrillas are throwing a fit because they can't interfere in matches tonight. Reno assures them all that he's got it under control. Well, yeah, I mean, if one guy's got it under control, it's Reno.
Well, that's the guy Cody stole his finishing move from.
Yeah,
so remember that.
Gosh. Shut up. Hey, Test stole the finish first, okay?
That's fair. What did he call it, though? I mean,
the test drive.
To be honest, I always thought Roll the Dice was pretty cool. His name is Reno. And...
Yeah. Well, Test called it the test drive. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense, too.
Yep.
And also Crossroads makes sense, too. I'm not knocking that. I'm simply saying he stole it.
Oh, yeah. But Mancow, who is a discount Howard Stern, comes to the ring with his discount whack pack, which he called the Morning Madhouse Crew. He's wearing a leather trench coat and a t-shirt that says, "Boy bands suck." Quite the hot take.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with him on this.
Before the match, Mancow says that he's interviewing Goldberg tonight. On radio? Okay. Anyway.
I remember, dude, at one point in his life, he was highly sought after, not sought after, people went to him for interviews because he meant something. I mean, him or not.
Yeah, he was over.
Get out of the box. Chicago rules.
But he called Mark Madden a fat son of a bitch and a fat tub of shit. That was cool.
I don't like Mark Madden, but okay.
Jimmy Hart then hobbles to the ring on crutches and says to give him 2 weeks and he'll be ready to face Mancow. Mancow says, "You're like Al Gore. You don't know when to say goodbye. I'm George W. Bush, and I've already kicked your ass, you pathetic little son of a bitch."
Good Lord.
Man, talk about, that's so 2000. He then says that he may kick Jimmy, quote, in his hanging chad. Good grief. Again, timely. But this one...
I did think that for the era, I think for the time wise, it was kind of clever, I guess, but
yeah, it was timely, but yeah. But this match is quote unquote match is Mancow with his Morning Madhouse Crew versus Jimmy Hart in about a minute and a half. Members of the discount whack pack attack Jimmy Hart. 3 count of all people come down to pick him up.
Jr., man, that's the dude right there.
Good Lord. And then Jimmy low blows Mancow. It was during this time where I learned that one of the Morning Madhouse Crew members is named Turd. Good God.
My favorite was Jim Jesus.
For God's sake.
I don't know
what to say.
No. I mean, the Turd probably is. Jim Jesus is not a real name. There's no way.
Mancow takes Hart out with a crutch, rips his fake cast off, clotheslines him with a cast, and then pins him. Uncle Dave gave it a dud. I give it -2 stars because it's so dumb. Let's say you.
I didn't even give it a rating. It's more like a horrible segment with a pin.
Yeah, basically. Well, you got to get Turd on the show, man.
Dude, Al Roker Jr. didn't even tell me what was happening in my neck of the woods. I was pissed.
Right. Did he poop himself?
No, dude. Obama was just still a mayor or something at this time.
God dang it, he was a senator, pal.
Whatever. He's
Lord.
nobody to shart over just yet.
Good.
We're about 8 years away.
Wow. That's effed up, dude.
He said it himself. It's not made up fact.
Well, he didn't shart while meeting the Pope, so there's that.
Well, maybe he's not Catholic, okay?
Yeah, right. Hey, I don't shart when meeting politicians, only religious figures. All right, anyway, back to this, I guess. Mike Awesome is in a neck brace.
I was trying to get away from this, but if you want to keep going back.
Well, backstage, Mike Awesome is in a neck brace on a gurney with EMTs around him. Crowbar leans over him and tries to wake him up. I don't know why. We now flip to MIA's locker room where they're discussing what they're going to do if they can't all be at ringside together. And this is when, by the way, General Rection walks in and hands them all brand new T-shirts, fresh off the press. So, yeah, gotta get that.
Erection.
Yeah, you gotta get that fresh, hot, new MIA merch, man. But Ric Flair then walks in and tells Sergeant AWOL to come with him. For a split second, we see Bam Bam Bigelow and Lance Storm talking with each other while socially distancing. So,
oh my god!
I don't know why they were like. That doesn't have a payoff, by the way. Not to spoil anything. Well, oh wait, yeah, it does. Never mind. See, I hated this show so bad, I forgot the payoff.
Well, I said too. I'm looking at these notes now because I've already opened Pandora's box. Like, oh, good lord, this is coming.
We now go back to Pamela Paulshock standing by with Billy Kidman, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Tigress. Mysterio says that Disco's plan is going to fail, and Kidman and Disco said that Disco hired Chronic because he's not man enough to face him tonight. Mark Madden says the line, "If Disco's involved tonight, it's a mentally handicapped match." Holy God, man.
Oh man.
I guess we got to get into this one. It's this next one is called Three.
I'm just gonna say it's not as bad as you would think, actually. But let's go ahead.
Yeah. Well, this one's called it's a three-way dance or triple threat, whatever. But it's called Three the Hard Way. So
yeah, that's what they call their hardcore matches. And I actually give them credit for that. I think that's kind of clever. So
it's something. But it's Crowbar defending the hardcore title.
When you suck this bad, when you get something like that, you have to give them full credit.
Victories. Okay? Yeah. Right. It's like the little kid at school that didn't crap his pants one day of the week. It's like, way to go, little Johnny. You got it in the toilet.
It's like a plethora of things you could have said, and that's what you picked, but whatever.
When I think of WCW 2000, my mind instantly goes to crap, okay? All right,
you redeemed yourself. Okay. I got you.
But it's Crowbar defending the hardcore title against Big Vito and Reno in just shy of 8 minutes. Crowbar... Here's another stupid ref. Crowbar hasn't even made his entrance yet when the ref rings the damn bell because apparently everyone in WCW is completely stupid. Crowbar then runs down and joins in because he's an idiot and he won't just wait for them to beat each other up and then rush in and get the pin. They all then brawl to the back where Reno's wife, I guess, which is Vito's sister, Marie, stops him from hitting Vito. Okay, I'm glad I got that one right, because that was a big deal. It was
very soon too, by the way.
It was central to the storyline, but it was just stupid. Anyway, Crowbar then blasts Reno in the face with a chair and pins him to retain the hardcore title. Uncle Dave and I both gave this Uno star. It sucked. What say you?
I gave it 2. I was a little entertained by it. I pointed out, did you notice that every weapon Vito used had the Italian flag on it?
I did not notice that. Wow, that's hilarious. I'm like,
okay, there's nothing wrong ever with being proud of your heritage, but good lord, man, this dude is like super proud.
I'm like, I wonder where his family comes from.
Oh man, I loved it. It's like when he hit the Italian flag colored traffic cone. Like, what the hell?
That's awesome.
Because if you ever go to Italy, they always have their flag on the traffic cones.
Well, what's next? You're going to tell me that, his dad, every time he had bad manners at the table, his dad would go, "What's the matter, you?" and smack him upside the head.
It might have, God rest his soul, be ashamed how stupid her son is.
Right. Man. Anyway, Buff Bagwell walks through the backstage area and asks some random ass people where the equipment truck is, and then he says he's got a great idea, and then he laughs maniacally and walks away. Okay.
He's the stuff.
So this doesn't have much of a payoff, but we'll get into it. We see Kevin Nash and DDP talking about random stuff in their locker room, and they get a huge pop from the crowd, biggest one of the night. And they're not even, like, you can't even understand what the hell they're saying. It's so muffled. I don't know. Kevin Nash is literally sitting on a couch reading a magazine, and DDP's taping his wrists up.
You notice, by the way, they looked miserable as hell.
Which one?
Both of them, but...
Right. That just reminds me of, like, Kevin Nash talking about going to the gym with, like, that, just the weirdest freaking crew of all time back in the day. There was, like, him, Iron Sheik, Sid, and, I think Sid, and, Dutch Mantel. And he's like, Iron Sheik would just, like, pump out a couple reps and be done. And him and Sid were the workout monsters. And then you got, like, Dutch Mantel, who'd literally be sitting off in the corner of the gym reading a newspaper.
Of course.
But now we go back to Mean Gene Okerlund standing by.
Man. The line of the night's coming up.
Yep. He says, he's standing by with Ernest the Cat Miller and Ms. Jones. Mean Gene gets super pervy, telling Miss Jones that she looks tasty. That's creepy as hell. The cat tells him off and says that, then says that he doesn't care about the franchise. By the way, did he completely drop Shane Douglas?
Yeah, at some point he did, yeah.
Okay, because they just keep calling him the franchise. I was like, what did I miss? But he says that nobody can beat him, and if he loses to the franchise, he'll kiss his feet and leave the country for 30 days. Well, that's a weird threat, but okay. As they're leaving, Mean Gene says, Miss Jones, I could rock your world, sweetheart. What the F?
You didn't hear the next part?
No, I didn't.
He told her. He said he could rock her world and she needs some vitamin Gene.
Oh, for God's sake, I missed that. Holy hell.
Probably the greatest thing ever on this entire show.
That's great.
I think I rewound it listening to it twice. Like, did he really just say that?
I can't remember what show from around this era we recently reviewed where Mean Gene says something about he's harder than a javelin or something like that. I'm like, what the?
He must have already had the money in the bank at this point.
Yeah. Well, during the Filthy Animals entrance, Tony Schiavone drops his soon-to-be infamous line that's on his podcast, and now has a T-shirt of it, where the commentary is going back and forth, and he tells somebody, he's like, you a lie. That's my favorite line of his podcast. Like, Conrad will be going off on something, he's like, well, you know what? You a lie. But anyway, I'm like, man, Tony just, like, the governor came off at this time, man. He just didn't give a crap. He was like, whatever. We're going under. I can say whatever the hell I want. Are they going to replace me with, I can't even think of his name now, Scott Hudson?
It would.
Yeah. Well, now we go to the Filthy Animals of Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio Jr. They have Tigress in their corner. They're taking on the three-man team of Alex Wright and Chronic, Brian Adams and Brian Clark. This one went for 7 minutes, 46 seconds in a 3-on-2 handicap match. I just realized Chronic's theme sounds like the drum solo from Dragula by Rob Zombie.
Well, it was. They ripped off a lot of things back then.
Yeah. But now that I said that, people go back and listen to it. That's what it sounds like. But anyway, Conan was supposed to work this match apparently, but his mother had a stroke the day before, so he missed it. Look, even if I hope his mom was okay, obviously, but it's like, even if there wasn't an injury, I would have missed this show if I was Conan. Why the hell?
I gotta skip it, man. My horse is sick.
Right. Whenever Chronic is in the ring, they're dominant. But when Alex Wright is in the ring, the time runs out and Chronic leaves. They literally have a stopwatch with them, by the way, counting down. It makes the match 2-on-1 then. In the end, Kidman hits a BK bomb on Wright, and they do the what's up, but instead of Ray doing the headbutt, he does a leg drop. And Kidman pins Alex for the win. Uncle Dave gave it a 1.25 stars. I gave it a 1.5 stars. What say you?
This is brutal, man. I give it 1, but
yeah, it sucked.
I don't know the last time I gave a star to a Mysterio Kidman match.
Yeah, right. And you notice commentary is just like touching themselves to Chronic throughout this whole match.
They were the big baddies at the moment, though, too. So.
Yeah, they're big and dominant and strong. It's like, Vince McMahon in your headset, like, God dang it, they're beefy.
And beefy.
Big meaty men smacking meat.
The hell?
Apparently that's something that the New Day.
I know, but you said it.
I'm just imagining it in Vince McMahon's voice, like big meaty men smacking meats. Like that would be the best. But we go to the back now, where the Natural Born Thrillers are standing around reassuring themselves about how well they'll do tonight. You know, because we got to take time out of the pay-per-view for this. We then switch to Mean Gene. Wow. We then switch to Mean Gene Okerlund standing by with Scott Steiner and Medeja. Scott says that at Halloween Havoc, if security hadn't stopped him, Booker T would be dead. Wow. So
that's a real sentence.
He's admitting to attempted murder on the live pay-per-view. That's cool. But he says that...
I thought like anyone was going to see this and report it.
Touche. But he says that some people say that he's out of his mind, but when he's out of his mind, he's at his best.
Sure.
False, because you're out of your mind all the time. But up next we have this. It's the franchise Shane Douglas with Tori Wilson in his corner, or I guess just the franchise now, taking on Ernest the Cat Miller with Miss Jones. This one went 8 minutes. Before the match,
did you ever confirm if she got her vitamin Gene?
Good Lord.
Or she's just
maybe
going
after
in
the match.
this? Oh, okay.
She gets with Mean Gene. Tigress gets with Tony Schiavone. You know, it's the whole thing.
No, there goes my lunch.
What the hell? Before the match, Douglas has to cut a promo where he doesn't really say anything of any importance. I didn't take a single note on it. But when the Cat comes out, he tells Douglas that he's going to kick his ass tonight. Cool. Douglas ends up grabbing Miss Jones by the hair and getting slapped before the match. Mark Madden gets hit by both men at one point as well.
Not hard enough.
Yeah. Both women keep interfering, and they eventually get into a cat fight in the ring, which Mark Madden clearly rips off Joey Styles because he starts yelling, "Cat fight! Cat fight!" Like,
it wasn't cool when Styles did it. It's not cool when he does it.
No, it's even less cool when he does it. He's from Pittsburgh. All right, anyway. Shane Douglas ends up punching Miller with brass knuckles, but that's not the end. Why would it be? Cat gets his foot on the rope. In the end, Cat puts on a red shoe and kicks Douglas in the face and wins. Uncle Dave gave it a 1.25 stars. I give it a star. Whole thing sucked. What say you?
I give it 1. Debating
Blue chunks.
0, but
I can't believe these two sucked it up so bad.
I can't believe you can't believe. It's WCW.
Yeah, but Shane Douglas was good. The Cat was good, you know, on any given night. So, I don't know. These two sucked it up, though. After the match, Miss Jones puts the cape on Cat's back, and he throws it off, you know, the whole James Brown thing, and then they both dance. Cool.
Call his mama.
We now see Jeff Jarrett walking through the back when he sees his guitar shattered on the ground. He asks a couple of randoms what happened, and both say that they don't know. Jarrett asks where Buff Bagwell went, and they point him down the hall. Oh, well, hey, it's war now. Only I get to shatter my guitars. Good grief. We now go to Pamela Paulshock standing by with General Hugh G. Rection, Lieutenant Loco, Corporal Cajun, and Sergeant AWOL of the MIA. Paulshock reminds us that Rection's final shot at Lance Storm's U.S. title is tonight. Loco tells...
Rection's final shot.
Yes. Loco tells Rection to eliminate him by any means necessary. Rection says that Storm made this personal. He made it about Major Guns, and Cajun says, "You can keep that, bitch." Cool.
Real sentence.
Rection says it's not over until the Misfits say it's over. And Paul Shock says that the General may have finally snapped in a performance that could have got her a starring role in Sharknado.
I forgot that was a thing back then.
Yeah. We now go to a vignette for Blood Runs Colder and the return of Glacier, while the commentary team craps all over it. Tony Schiavone's like, "No, not again." And then he literally says...
reaction, I take back what I said about Gene. That was probably the greatest thing of the night.
Yeah, right. He's like, "We're not doing this again."
You could hear him laughing, like scoffing in such a sarcastic way.
Well, then afterwards he goes, "That's a rib." Bam Bam Bigelow now walks to the ring in a t-shirt, and says that since Mike Awesome went to the hospital, he declares himself the winner via forfeit. Ric Flair comes out and says, "You're signed up to wrestle tonight, and we've got 10,000 people here." Sure. So is this Psycho Ric Flair again? Because,
I was going back and forth.
yeah. There's 10,000 people, huh? He then
probably drunk and seeing like triple, so it probably was to him.
Holy crap, you said that. He then says that he's got a surprise and a match for him tonight before Sergeant AWOL comes out carrying a table. And this is Bam Bam Bigelow versus Sergeant AWOL in just over 5.5 minutes. 4 minutes too long. Mark Madden says that WCW needs to, quote, cut out this hardcore crap because it's shortening careers. Okay. In the end, AWOL sets up the table in the ring and tries to chokeslam Bigelow through it. Keep in mind, this is not a hardcore match. But Bam Bam blocks it. It's greetings from Asbury Park and wins. Uncle Dave gave it a dud. I give it a star. Say you.
Oh, I give it a Z because it put me to sleep.
Yeah, this sucks, man. It's like, why is this?
Even on Nitro.
Yeah. After the match, Bam Bam Bigelow collapses face down, and they have to load him onto a stretcher with a neck brace on. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw stuff that caused a neck injury.
Right. We now go back with Mean Gene Okerlund standing by with Buff Bagwell, who has the neck of a shattered guitar with him. Where did he get that, by the way? Because the shattered guitar we saw, the neck of the guitar was, like, on the ground with it.
Shattered Guitars R Us. Where the hell do you think he got it?
Oh, excuse me. Good grief. But anyway, Bagwell mocks Jarrett for a bit before we go back to Bigelow being checked out by the EMTs. Before the next match, Lance Storm comes out with major guns and says that he's coming out against doctor's orders for this match. And he says that he took everything from General Rection except his country, and that's because he doesn't want it. He then stands at attention for the playing of the Canadian national anthem. General Rection comes out as Bam Bam is still being stretchered out, but Bam Bam jumps off the stretcher and he starts beating away at Rection. Finally, Storm rolls Rection into the ring to start the match. Yeah, see, this is the payoff, and I forgot. Because I was like, wait, what just happened here?
Yeah, they're building this for months.
Okay. Well, right here we get Lance Storm with major guns. He's defending the WCW United States Heavyweight title against General Hugh G. Rection.
Real name.
This went about 6.5 minutes. Storm gets absolutely buried here. Even after the beating that Bam Bam gave Rection, even after Major Guns crotches Rection on the top rope, Rection still manages to hit a moonsault, barely even touching Lance Storm, and still gets the 3. Uncle Dave gave it a star and 3/4. I gave it a star. I hated this match. What say you?
I gave it 2 only because I was following along the whole time. Like from the time it started to this, that was fun payoff to finally see him win. So,
I mean, I'm not saying I would have had him lose, but I'm just saying it's like, I mean, when you put it together like that, like he got beat up before the match, he got crotched on the top rope, and then his moonsault barely touches him, and he still beats him. And this is after they've been building Storm up for like ever. So it's just weird. I don't know. But backstage,
the payoff of him beating a guy they built up forever does work though.
Yeah. But backstage, Mike Sanders is telling head of security Doug Dillinger to send the security home. We now get a commercial for Starcade 2000. Yay.
Yeah.
What a show that was. I say not remembering a damn thing from that card. Jeff Jarrett now comes to the ring for his match and grabs a mic saying Buff is just an idiot. Jarrett's still the one with all the stroke around here. He says that when you're the chosen one, you always come prepared. So tonight, he's going to prove why he's the big superstar and Buff Bagwell is just a goof. Well, I mean, did he really have to prove that Buff was a goof? I
himself, I don't know.
This match is Jeff Jarrett versus Buff Bagwell in just over 11 minutes. This was never made no DQ, but both men brawl all around ringside, use weapons, and hit low blows. All right in front of the ref. Was this ECW at this point? Like, for God's sake. They bumped the Well, they bumped the ref for no reason whatsoever so that Jarrett can bring in a chair. Keep in mind, this is after they've already been using weapons. And then David Flair rushes out and DDTs Jarrett on the chair. But of course, that's not the finish, and Jarrett kicks out. Why would that be?
I don't know.
Jarrett,
You always have to have David Flair appearance, though.
Damn straight. That asses in seats. Man, that's all I got to say. You always want to give them more than they, more than their, value for their money.
Hell yeah. Added value, dude.
Exactly. Jarrett, of course, has another guitar hiding under the ring. And when the ref gets shoved aside at one point, Jarrett El Kabongs Buff Bagwell for the win. Pointless. Uncle Dave gave it 2 3/4 of a star. I gave it 2 stars.
Crap.
Yeah, I gave it 2 stars. What say you?
I barely gave it 2, only because it's a little entertaining.
Yeah. So he was a 1/4 of a star away from giving this damn thing 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. What the hell?
It's funny, too, because I often wonder, what brings it down a 1/4? So if I'm going off my logic, why isn't it 3?
Maybe David Flair brought it down. It's got to be it. But before the next match, Mike Sanders comes to the ring to join commentary.
Above average?
Well, yeah, he's an above average commentator now. But we now got the perfect event of Chuck Palumbo and Shawn Stasiak defending the WCW Tag Team titles against the Insiders, Kevin Nash and Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas White Trash. It's Scott Steiner would call him.
Wow. This one went just shy of 15 minutes. To get around the no wrestlers around the ring rule, Mike Sanders has made all the members of the Natural Born Thrillers official security guards for this match. When they try to get involved...
That was kind of clever.
It was. I feel like they did a variation of this like 3 times within the past year.
Yeah, they did. Everyone had a manager's license at one point.
Yeah. Well, when they try to get too involved, Ric Flair comes out with Doug Dillinger's security to take them all away. Mike Sanders can stay, though, because he shows off his official wrestling credentials, manager credentials. When Nash gets the hot tag, he whoops all the ass, hits a jackknife on Stasiak, and Sanders pulls the ref out of the ring. The DDP hits a diamond cutter on Sanders. The ref slides back in and counts to 3 for Nash. Uncle Dave gave this 2 1/4 stars. I gave it 2 stars. What say you?
2, barely. I thought about giving it 1. I thought I was gonna like this one too. I forgot about it.
I know. I like all 4 of these dudes, but nah. Nash didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, I know, shocker, but yeah.
Got the boot and the power bomb and the hair flip.
And the flipper punch. But now we go to the back with Pamela Paulshock standing by with Lex Luger. Paulshock asks Luger if he has butterflies heading into this match. Luger takes exception to this, and he tells Goldberg that tonight could have been them against each other for the world title, but he blew it. Luger says that he's, quote, the Michael Jordan of WCW, and tonight he's going to end Goldberg. Look, if there's one person that I would consider the Michael Jordan of WCW, it would not be Lex effing Luger.
I guess from Chicago, so there's that.
Yeah. Anyway. This next match, the total package, Lex Luger takes on Goldberg. If Goldberg loses, he has to leave WCW. This went just shy of 6 minutes. Lex Luger pulls the referee in between him and Goldberg at one point, causing them both to get speared. Goldberg then hits a jackknife on Luger as another referee runs out and counts to 3 for Goldberg. Uncle Dave gave it a dud. I gave it a 1/2 star. What say you?
I gave it a whole star.
Yeah, not good. I mean, it wasn't meant to be, but I think I texted you during this time. I was like, man, this is going to be a wrestling clinic. Luger and Goldberg. It's going to be Flair Steamboat levels of technical greatness. My note after the match here, last week on Thunder, Goldberg's new streak was 14 wins. When he came out at this event, they announced it at 20. On Nitro the next night, they announced it at 25. So somehow he went from 14 to 25 with only one match in between.
Got to factor in them bar brawls, dude.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sure. Good grief. We're going to take our second to last break. When we come back, it's main event time. What a main event it is. Right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Forgot
The
that.
same mother and father.
Your room was...
Oh, we share the room.
Shared a room.
We share the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah,
or
we go
something.
way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Broadcast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah. Well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAS. They nearly snapped up the ending.
Hey, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we are back.
And we're back.
It is Booker T defending the WCW World Heavyweight title against Scott Steiner with Madeja in his corner in a straight jacket cage heat match. It went just over 13 minutes. Real stipulation, by the way. I guess if the cage heat is basically like Hell in a Cell, and then they hang the straight jacket from the ceiling, I guess, to use as a weapon. Scott Steiner jumps Booker T as soon as he gets in the cage, and for some reason, Madeja is allowed to stay inside the cage for this match. Why? Don't know.
Manager's license.
Yeah, but inside the cage? I don't know. Steiner gets the straight
I don't
jacket
make up the
first.
rules, dude.
Neither do they.
Talk about they clearly make up rules, but anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Steiner gets the straight jacket first, but Booker T puts it on Steiner before blasting him in the face with a chair. Steiner then uses his effing man strength and just rips the arms off the straight jacket. In the end, Steiner ends up blasting Booker in the face with a chair, slamming him, locking him in Steiner recliner, and Booker T passes out to give Steiner the win. What the hell was the point of the straight jacket? Uncle Dave gave it 2 stars. I gave it 2.5 for average. What say you?
I gave it 1, but I said aesthetics. That's the point of it.
Yeah, there's like, bro, it would look cool on the box art, bro. It literally did nothing. But after the match, Steiner repeatedly beats on Booker T with the steel chair, shoves aside some referees, and then slams the steel chair onto Booker T's braced right knee repeatedly to close the show. Well, I think we should take our last break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the final ratings and tell you what's to come next week on the podcast.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we're back.
We're back.
Final ratings time. Internet Movie Database gave this 5.5 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 3.21 out of 10. I gave it 5 out of 10 for suck. What say you?
Gave it a solid F-.
Yeah, this is a horrible show. It was one of the lowest grossing in the history of WCW. Even just looking at the card, I mean, I like Booker T and Scott Steiner. And like I said, I like the people in the tag match, but there's nothing on this card that would make me go, ooh, I should drop, what was it, $30 on this? No, nothing. But that does it for this one, man. So that wraps up November. Damn, blew through that one. So I hope you guys enjoy, if you're listening to it on Wednesday, I hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving feast tomorrow. If you're listening to it on Thanksgiving, thank you for making us a holiday tradition for you. But we are now headed into December, next week, we're going back to the year 1993. It's Starcade month. So next week, to start off December, on the 1st, we are covering WCW Starcade 1993. This is the one headlined by Ric Flair versus Vader for the WCW title. It was a memorable match. I haven't watched the whole event back yet. There wasn't like a whole lot on the show that I think was earth-shattering, but the Vader Flair thing was very historic, and I've seen it before, but I'm looking forward to watching it again. December 8th, real quick, is the WWE Vengeance 2001 for the 20-year anniversary, and so a little bit more recent. That is where Chris Jericho defeated. I don't know if you know this, Greg. In one night on the same show, Chris Jericho defeated The Rock and Stone Cold. Did you know that?
I feel like I did. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people know that. He doesn't toot that horn enough. He really should, put it on a shirt or something. Anyway, but that's coming up in the next 2 weeks. Thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you all for joining us again. It's been a fun November. We'll see you all next week for WCW Starcade.